Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch affairs.
It's probably the least sexy part of the work, and I don't. It's okay. No. The truth is,
What if the thing that helped save your life wasn't another medication or another therapy session, but a microphone, a spotlight, and a room full of people ready to laugh? My guest today knows that sometimes the most powerful healing begins when we stop hiding our pain and start sharing it, even if that means turning some of life's darkest moments into punchlines. Dave Mowry has lived through bipolar disorder, severe anxiety, homelessness, devastating loss, and years of believing his life would never get better. But then something unexpected happened. Stand-up comedy helped him take back control. They always say laughter is the best medicine. And today, he's an award-winning author, mental health advocate, comedy instructor, and the author of Healing with Humor, Mental Illness to Mental Health, One Laugh, One Joke, One Inspiring Story at a time. And through his own journey and the inspiring stories of others, Dave is proving that laughter doesn't erase pain, but it can help light the path toward healing, hope, and reminding us that none of us has to walk that journey alone. How's it going, Dave?
It's going well, Rich. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Listen, first I have to, because anytime I talk to a comedian, I always have to ask them this. And yeah, I know you can't pick just one. So 3 of your favorite comedians.
Oh, wow. I'd say there's a guy, Stephen Wright.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Isn't he great? He's
yes.
Great. He's great. I love him. And then I like Ricky Gervais. And
yes.
Then I would say Jerry Seinfeld, just because he's so clever. You know, his act is clean and it's just laugh out loud funny. So, yeah, I'd go with those 3 that are on top of mind.
You are the first comedian I ever talked to that named those 3. Actually, nobody's ever named one of them.
Really?
No. And they're great picks. Stephen Wright was hilarious. I mean, he just, oh God. I think he threw a lot of people for a loop when he first started. And I think it was the first time on public television, I believe it was on Carson, if I'm not mistaken. And people didn't know what to expect of him. He reminded me of Andy Kaufman, but not, the delivery was completely different, but people didn't know how to take Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
And he was hilarious. Yeah, but, Stephen Wright. Who was the other one I was thinking of that reminded me of Stephen Wright that passed away? Mitch Head. I can never pronounce his last name. Mitch Hedge. Anyways, they're all great. All right, so your story, it's like I said, it's one of incredible highs, devastating lows, and remarkable resilience. But before we get into everything else, for those hearing your story for the first time, who is Dave Mowry today?
Dave Mowry today is someone with the compassion I didn't have before and strength I didn't have before and a confidence that I can get through anything, no matter how hard, how bad, how awful it can be, how low, the low part of life, and to get through that. So strength, perseverance, I think compassion that I've gained through my experiences, my life, that I didn't have before. I think that's important. So, and I'm also, a father, grandfather, husband, and I work with people with a mental illness. I share my story. They share theirs, sometimes for the first time, and I help them heal.
And I want to thank you for that because, and we talk about mental health on here a lot. And when people share their story, it does help others. And I know that for a fact because I've had people contact me because of a guest I've had on and they heard the story and it's helped them. So I want to thank you for that a lot. So what do you actually hope that people see when they meet you now that they may not have seen years ago?
Depends on the situation, the setting, I think they see, years ago, especially during the deep and dark days, I was just a shell of a person. So now I hope they see the whole person, when people see me in the mental health field, I hope they see somebody who's lived a life, who's been there, and who really understands what it's like to live with a mental illness, and so they can share their story and talk to me with confidence that, one, I'm going to listen and I'm going to care, and I've been there, and two, that I'm not going to go out and tell their story to somebody else. It's their story, and
Right.
What they say to me stays between
Confident.
the two of us.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's in confidence with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is good. It's up to them that if they want to share their story like you have, then it's totally up to them.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I'd feel like I was using them,
Right.
and that's the wrong reason. The other thing I found out going through everything that I've been through is when you do things for the right reason, things tend to work out.
Yeah.
And if you do it for the wrong reason, I know one of the businesses I started, I did it to be rich and famous, and that's the one that crashed and burned and caused me to have my mental breakdown and go into my dark days in my last years.
Wow. Now, what, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of business was that?
It was a bagel retail franchise and production business.
Bagel?
Bagels, yes.
All right, repeat that again. A bagel, what?
Okay, we had bagel retail stores.
A retail, okay. I thought you said bagel redone for a minute. I was going to say,
redone, yeah.
Yeah, you recycled bagels?
Recycle bagels, yeah. Well, we kind of did that. When we had leftover bagels, we'd donate them to the food bank, so we recycled those. But yeah.
So, you didn't just sell the holes?
Yeah, we sold the holes.
I'm sorry.
That was the most profitable.
You mentioned Seinfeld earlier, and all I could think of was selling muffin tops.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is going to be funny. I can hear it already. All right. So your book, you write with, remarkable honesty about living with bipolar disorder and severe anxiety. What was life really like during the years when you were suffering in silence?
When I had my breakdown, I was driving down the freeway and my mind snapped. My voice went monotone, my muscles in my face went slack. It was everything I could do just to get home, and I went to bed. And I stayed in bed. I couldn't get out of bed. I could barely get out of bed. And if I did get out of bed, it was everything I could do just to get downstairs to the couch, to sit and just to hold it together and just to be. If I heard the phone ring, I would have a panic attack. I couldn't interact socially with people. I couldn't work. I couldn't go to the mailbox because I was afraid that I'd see a neighbor and they'd look in my eyes and see the emptiness and the brokenness inside. So I went to the mailbox at night when I was able to go to the mailbox. I didn't shower for weeks and weeks. There's something about when you're in a deep, dark depression that, and it's common, you just can't shower.
Yeah.
And you just can't. It's too much. I'd sleep in my clothes because it was too much to take my clothes off.
Wow.
And it was too much to put them back on in the morning. Back to the shower, and when I wrote, I blogged for bphope.com, and the blog post's been read by over 1 million people, with the most common comment being, "OMG, that's me, you're telling my story." And when I wrote about Too Depressed to Shower, the response, the comments were just amazing, from people saying, "Yeah, me too, me too." OMG, that's me.
Wow.
So that was interesting. But yeah, Too Depressed to Shower, I couldn't function. I just couldn't. It's indescribable. If somebody hasn't been there, it's really it's indescribable, the depth of the lows and the sadness and the loss and being homeless and feeling like I let down the family and sense of worthlessness.
If you don't mind me asking, are you a veteran?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay. And I ask that because I know a lot of veterans go through that as well.
Yeah. It's a similar thing. And, I'd hear a song on the radio, and it would trigger a thought, and I'd go back and I'd relive that trauma. And so it was, it was PTSD. It was classic PTSD. So, and the veterans have the same situation.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing about learning the comedy, getting into the comedy and teaching the comedy is I learned how to reframe when I heard that song and got triggered to go back to that darkness, looking for the comedy in that experience, reframed everything. And so I wouldn't go back to that dark place and relive that trauma.
Well, how did you actually come about doing the comedy? Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was, who knew, right? Here's a guy, he's a businessman, then he has a breakdown, loses everything, homeless with the family, blah, 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 blah. Never thought about it. But my wife saw a little ad, just a little tiny ad in the newspaper about a stand-up comedy class for people with a mental illness. And she urged me to go. Oh, yeah. So I went, and first class, we went around and told our stories. And I told my story, and I shared too much, and the comic that was teaching it said, that's just sad. So looking for the humor, and it was hard. But my wife urged me to do it, so that's how I get started. And I found out I could write jokes, I could find the humor and the punchlines. I was pretty good at it. I had timing.
So it was like a course you took.
It was a class, yeah. It was a 10-week class. We looked for the humor. We learned how to find the humor and the challenges. Then at the end of the class, we did a show. So we got up on stage and, I told my story one joke at a time.
Right.
And it's interesting. If I was in front of people, I'd have a panic attack. I just didn't matter what I was in front of them for. Even if I was with a group, I would think everybody was looking at me, and I'd start to sweat, and I'd have a panic attack.
Wow.
But when I got up on stage and was telling my story, one joke at a time, and like you said, complete openness and honesty, and there were no nerves, just no nerves. I just went up and had a good time.
But were you nervous when you walked into class that first day?
Oh yeah, I was nervous. I was didn't feel like I belonged. I was suffering in silence. I tried to be as invisible as possible.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. I never heard of that. But that's great. Now I got to find the guy that held the class and get him on.
Yeah, his name's David Grenier, and it's called Stand Up for Mental Health.
Real? Oh, okay.
And he's out of Vancouver, BC, and his class changed my life.
I bet it's changed a lot of people's lives.
Oh yeah, I can't say enough.
Well, what surprised you the most about that?
What surprised me the most was the transformation. It surprised me that I could I could write jokes and they were funny. But the transformation that happened by reframing, and instead of going back to that trauma, using humor to reframe my experiences, and the healing power, like you said, the healing power of humor is truly amazing. Whoops. It's truly amazing.
That just scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So those of you listening, Dave decided he was going to laugh and scare the hell out of me. What was that,
there you go.
Siren or what?
Yeah, that was the siren.
Wow. No, but the thing is, and I've heard, a lot of comedians say this. Ones that have gone through anything traumatic, any type of disability, disease, or whatever, they write jokes about it. They laugh at themselves, and it gets the people laughing.
Yeah.
There's one guy, and I can't think of his name right offhand, that I've been watching clips of, and he's got cerebral palsy, and he can't speak. So he uses his phone, and his phone does the talking for him. And a lot of times you see him on stage with a young lady who's in a wheelchair, but to watch these two go back and forth, oh my God. And they're just cracking on each other's disabilities, but the whole stage, the whole audience is just rolling.
Yeah.
And you would never think of that. Who's the other one I think of? Josh Blue, who's another comedian with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And like I said before, when we started, they say laughter is the best medicine. And I definitely believe that. Go ahead. You were getting ready to say something.
Oh, it truly is the best medicine. I remember, and it was in the comedy class, the first time I laughed in 14 years.
Wow.
And it was a real belly laugh. And as I was laughing, I realized how long it had been since I laughed. And it just let so much stuff out, and it felt so amazing.
Felt like a ton of bricks being lifted off your shoulders, didn't it?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Can you actually remember the first time you made an audience laugh about one of the darkest moments of your life?
Yeah. It was that first class, or the class, and the first performance after the class. And it was just silly stuff. I mean, seemed, silly stuff. But, one of the things about making it easy for me to perform is I like my jokes.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. I don't necessarily laugh at my own jokes, but I really, I like my jokes, and I think they're funny. I know they're funny because, everybody laughs. So, but yeah, telling it and having people laugh, it was confirmation that, the jokes were funny.
Right. Did something actually change inside you that moment?
I wanted to do it again.
Great.
I think that was it. And going from where I was and having no clue, no inclination, no thoughts of comedy, no thoughts of getting up on stage and performing, when actually every time I did before get in front of people, I'd have a panic attack. So, Yeah.
Now you just love doing it, don't you?
I do. And part of it is shattering the stigma, you
Yeah.
know. People think of somebody with bipolar disorder and severe anxiety, and they have this image. And then I get up on stage and I'm confident and capable and funny and interact with the audience, and it shatters the stigma. They don't see mental illness in the same way
Right.
anymore.
Now, are you just doing it local, or are you traveling around the States and Canada doing it?
Yeah, I've done it. I haven't gone to Canada, but I've done it mostly around along the West Coast.
Okay.
Throughout, I'm in Oregon, so throughout Oregon, and then into Washington and down into California, and so my humor travels, so it's kind of fun.
You got to make it out here to the East Coast, especially Maryland.
Yeah.
And then, I'll come and see you, and afterwards we'll go out and get some great seafood.
Oh, that sounds great.
So is there any stage that because a lot of comedians have stages, dreams, just like musicians have dreams about a certain stage they want to be on. Is there one for you? Or is it just the fact, just getting in front of people?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. No particular goal as far as the stage I want to get up on. I think relating to that, I think it's just getting in front of the audience that will, when I perform, after I perform, people come up to me, and people with a mental health challenge and whatnot, and they come up to me and say, first, you're telling my story, and thanks so much. And
That's awesome.
I laughed for the first time. And so I think for me, just getting in front of the right audience, audience that I can make a difference. Yeah.
I don't know if NAMI or was it the National Association?
National Alliance on Mental Illness.
National Alliance, yeah. I don't know if they do fundraisers or if any other nonprofit does fundraisers where they bring in comedians.
Yeah.
But they should. Oh, you have done that?
I've done that. Yeah, I performed at their convention up in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
There were like 400 people there. So I did that. And then it's interesting you bring up NAMI. I actually work in NAMI. I was executive director of a big NAMI affiliate.
Really?
And, so I'm connected with NAMI around the state, and I've done fundraisers for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And book signings and workshops. And, the workshops are really cool because what happens is I get up in front of people and I tell some jokes, of course.
Yeah.
But I talk about the structure of a joke and the healing power of humor. And then we break into smaller groups and write jokes. So I go to table and help them write jokes. So finding something challenging and then writing a joke and finding the humor and writing a punchline. And then somebody from each table comes up and tells the joke. And I introduce them like they're coming up on stage at a comic club,
Oh, man.
And it's really fun, and the people love it. And I think, the best humor comes from, I think, our challenges.
Yeah.
I think that's, and you talk about, the fellow with cerebral palsy and, the dark humor. It's really important. Dark humor is really important. It helps people heal.
It does. And you see people do it not just with disabilities, but even with death.
Yeah.
I forget who was it? The one comedian who was diagnosed with cancer. I want to say terminal, and he just kept performing until the day he died. And actually, I think he lived longer than they expected. but he didn't give up.
Yeah.
He didn't give up. And I think that's a big thing. I think especially with comedy itself, everybody needs it, but especially people that are diagnosed with something like that, whether it be cancer or whatever, it just don't give up and listen to these comedians.
Oh yeah.
And you'll be rolling.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now I mentioned the one book, but didn't you just finish another book as well?
Well, I've got the first book is called OMG, That's Me.
Oh, okay. That's the first one.
That's the first one. Bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and more. And it's actually been a bestseller on Amazon in the mental health category. I've sold over 22,000 copies, 700 5-star reviews. What it is I took the blog posts. The blog posts, when I wrote the blog posts, I went back to those dark times and I talked about the experience of it. So it was, reading that book, writing that book, it's what it's truly like to live with a mental illness, truly like to live with depression, truly like to not be able to get out of bed. And that really resonated with people. And so many mental health books are like 3 steps to wellness, do this, do that. And mine was just what it, just raw, open, honest, what it's like to live with a mental illness. So anybody that's listening, if you've got a mental health challenge, and you want to know you're not alone, that other people have these experiences, pick up the book. It's inexpensive, and people buy it and then they give it to their family members. They give it to other people. So they say, hey, and the response is, OMG, that's me. You're telling my story. And so they share it with family members and their therapists and say, this is me. This is what I'm going through. Because, when we're in that depth, whatever, we can't describe it. We can't talk about it. We don't,
Well, I want to take that one step further, Dave. All of you listening, purchase several copies of the book. And I'm talking about the first one. We haven't gotten into the second one yet. OMG, was it OMG?
OMG, that's me.
Purchase several copies and donate them to whether it's a recovery center, actually a jail. Jail or prison would be a perfect place. Yeah. There are a lot of facilities around where you live, I'm sure, that you could donate them to, and it will help these people. Actually, why not just purchase both books and do that? Usually I save that for the end, but you know what? I think it's important that people do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It truly is. If it's not going to happen and whatnot, but I think the book should be read by everybody in medical school or every professional, because they get told what the symptoms are. They have the DSM, which describes it, so they can diagnose, but they don't truly know what it's like to live with a mental illness.
Yeah,
and so I think everybody that's in the helping profession should read it as well.
And I've said it a few times already. Laughter is the best medicine. But the new book, Healing with
Humor. Yeah.
Some people might hear that and wonder, isn't mental illness too serious to laugh about? What would you say to them?
I would say it's not. There's very few things. There are very few things that are too serious to laugh about. One of the favorite jokes when I perform is a suicide joke, and it's my wife's favorite joke. It's just, suicide is never funny, right? You can't joke about that, supposedly. But I'll tell you my suicide joke.
I was going to say, you have to now.
I have to now, yeah. During my 14 last years suffering in silence, one day was particularly bad. And on this one particularly bad day, I decided to end it all. So I went up into the bathroom and I took a bunch of pills. Afterwards, I called my wife for help. She said there are more pills under the sink.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know. And that's an audience favorite because, you can't talk about that.
But the fact that it's your wife's favorite too is.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah,
all right, admit it. Did she help you write it?
No. But she laughed when I told it to her. So.
Oh
yeah.
my God, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, and, with that being said, because I think this is where. And we just went through this. Was it this cancel culture bullshit or whatever it was?
Yeah.
And I think this is where comedy. And let's face it, back then, a lot of comedians were afraid to go out and perform.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because people didn't know how to laugh. So explain to everybody what the difference between laughing at someone is and laughing with someone. Because in your case, that's what they're doing. They're laughing with you, but in a way it's at you, but it's not at you. Does that make sense?
No. Yeah. And, I was suicidal. I went out to a small park not too far from our house, and I had a gun, and I sat on the picnic table, and I didn't do anything. I came home and put the gun away, and never seriously considered it again. So I've been there, and it is laughing with me. Yeah. And I don't make fun of anybody. Some people, the only people that have ever had an issue with any of the jokes are people in the helping profession. And what they've done is they've said, you probably shouldn't tell that joke because it might trigger somebody. And so, and so they're trying to protect the people that have a mental illness. And that does more damage than anything else. So you're talking about the cancel culture, and not being able to tell jokes. And I just kept telling my jokes. And if somebody reacted negatively, then that was their issue. It wasn't mine. It wasn't with the joke. There are enough people in the audience. There are enough people with mental health challenges that laugh and love it. And come up to me after the show and say, "You're telling my story. That was great. I didn't realize I could laugh at these things. You changed my perspective."
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So it's always the person that's in the helping profession that's trying to protect us, thinking that we're vulnerable, that we're weak, and that's exactly the opposite.
And my take on it too is, number one, if you're going out to see a comedian, then you should know who you're going to go see, first of all. And number two, if you're going to be offended by any jokes, any kind of jokes, why are you going?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling. You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. I want to tell you about my friends over at Elite Power Washing. They take care of pressure washing, house washing, roof cleaning, gutter cleaning. They are truly the elite company when it comes to pressure washing. To see their work, to see what they've done, everything looks brand new. And there are even a lot of businesses out there that use them as well. They know how to make your property look like it's brand new. And again, I mean, they handle everything. Pressure washing, house washing, which, yes, there is a difference. Roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, concrete cleaning, paver cleaning, deck cleaning. So whether you're in Baltimore, Harford, or Cecil County, if you need something taken care of when it comes to pressure washing, call the Elite Power Washing team. They will get it done for you. They are the exterior cleaning professionals. They know what they're doing. Go to elitepowerwashingmd.com or call them at 410-705-9274. Again, it's 410-705-9274. Tell them Rich from Harford County Living sent you.
Yeah, when you come into a comedy show, there's this unwritten contract between the comic and the audience. And yeah, he's going to maybe say something that's dark or edgy or that you don't think is funny or is too personal, but that's part of the contract,
right?
And to get upset about it enough to, or do a post about it on social media, or to, like saying I shouldn't tell that joke. Trying to censor my act, censor my jokes. I mean, I bristle at that, and it just makes me want to. And I've got other jokes that besides mental health jokes, that just come to me that I can't tell, or I don't tell, but So yeah, the cancel culture. But I just ignored it.
But the other thing is too, you are living proof that humor actually became part of the healing process.
Yeah.
And people got to understand that. Oh God, I don't want to go off on a tangent here. So.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
No, yeah, it burns me up that, and it's usually the ones that get offended are the ones that there's nothing wrong with them. Except the fact that they're wusses and can't appreciate a good joke. It's irritating as hell.
Yeah, and they're looking to be offended. I mean, some of the people are looking to be offended and looking to be offended so they can write that post on social media. And I've had it. I just ignore it. I don't have time for folks like that.
All right, now I want to go back to this comedy class a minute because a lot of times with these people that get offended, they end up heckling the comedian. Did that class teach you how to deal with hecklers?
Not really.
Have you had the problem where you've had hecklers?
No.
Good,
no,
and hopefully you never will.
I haven't, and I won't. If I do, it's the same thing that, I'll just deal with it. I can interact, and I'm not worried about it. But I never had that situation.
Well, the other thing is too, I think because now that you're seeing cancel culture finally start going away or whatever, I think you're starting to see a lot more of the audience stand up against those hecklers too, because they have the comedians back. Which in the day they always did.
Yeah.
They always had not just comedians, but performers. They always had their back.
Yeah.
It's wow. Good.
Yeah, and they're there for a show. They're not there for the heckler. If the heckler wants to be a comic or get up on stage, find your own stage.
One of the things about your comedy too, it isn't making fun of just mental illness. It's about finding humanity in it. So how do you strike that balance?
I think it's just, like humanity being human. We have our foibles, we have our challenges, and so that's where it is. That's where it is.
Do you think laughter actually gives people permission to have conversations they might have otherwise avoided?
Definitely. And, in working with folks with a mental illness, if you get three people with a mental illness together, and talking about your mental illness, your mental health, and your challenges comes up, it inevitably goes into humor and laughter. the other thing with the cancel culture, I just lost my thought. It'll come back to me. But, words. People saying, you can't say crazy or you can't.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy. But it is.
It is. I know.
To think somebody with mental illness is going to be offended because you said the weather was crazy yesterday is absolutely idiotic. But again, these people are trying to protect us, and we don't need protected. Please, that's the worst kind of ableism.
Yeah.
But three of us, we're talking, and it inevitably goes to humor, and we talk about, because we have been crazy. I've been crazy. I mean, literally crazy. And we talk about being crazy, and we talk about the things we did when we were crazy, and we laugh about it, and we joke about it, and it lightens it. It's healing.
Mm-hmm.
But we do it. I mean, we do it.
And now you're teaching stand-up comedy to others living with mental illness.
Yeah.
So I want to switch that because you're doing the teaching, but what have your students taught you?
I think the strength and the perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the people that I've in my classes, my story is challenging and hard and all that kind of stuff. But some of the people have had incredibly, more challenges and whatnot. I think the perseverance, the strength of people, the strength of being human, and then the willingness to be there and to be open and to talk about it. So the courage. So strength and courage and perseverance. And if there's a message for the folks that are listening, it's, even at the bottom in the darkest times, the hardest times, know you're going to come out the other side.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever thinks about people with mental illness, we have suicidal ideation. Mm-hmm. It just is. It's just a fact. And obviously, most people don't act on it. Very few people act on it.
Yeah.
But, I think, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
And it is, what we're going through is temporary, and we will come out the other side. So, it took me a long time to accept the fact that I had a mental illness and I had these challenges. But I accepted it without resignation. I didn't resign myself to it's always how it's going to be. And I just kept trying. And I kept crashing. I kept trying, and I kept crashing. I over and over and over, I'd try and I'd crash and burn and end up going back to bed and whatnot. But I kept trying.
How many times have you, and it's probably continuous, I'm sure, but have you thanked your wife for finding that ad for that comedy class?
I don't know how many times, a lot. When I'm on stage, my wife stayed with me when we lost everything.
Yeah.
And we were hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and I was incapable of functioning, and she held us together and did everything. And she stayed with me, and she's truly the hero of my story.
Right.
And I say that, and I say that on stage. She truly is the hero of my story. If she hadn't stayed with me, I'd be in a single room occupancy, hotel in Old Town, wandering the street, going to the soup kitchen.
Wow,
that's how bad it was for me. That's how bad it was.
With the book, what actually inspired you to write Healing with Humor?
I think the transformation that happened with me, and then seeing the transformation that happened with people in the class, because I tell the story of 5 of the people that have taken the class and the transformation that's happened with them. So that's what inspired me. And Molly's an example. She's chapter 6. Molly was a doctor. All she ever wanted to do is be a doctor and practice medicine in her hometown. And she had to give it up because of her mental illness. She had a breakdown, and she had to give it up. And so she was lost. And then she came to the comedy class. Her mom brought her. She was suicidal. Her mom brought her. She started writing jokes and finding humor in her experiences. And now she sees herself as a comic.
Good.
She's got a purpose. She's got an identity, whereas before she lost her identity. She lost everything. And now she sees herself as a comic, and she's living a full life. She performs around town. So stories like that inspired me to write the book.
And so with the book, because your chapters are all people's names. Now,
Yeah.
Explain that and who these people are.
Yeah.
I mean, not by name, but what they
Yeah. No. And yeah, these, and they wanted, and I, obviously we talked about it. Do you want me to use your real name? How
Right.
do you want it, and get permission? But they wanted to tell their story. They want their story out there, So, yeah, I think that's important. They want to tell their story. Yeah.
Was there one story you knew you absolutely had to include in the book?
Lorraine is an older lady. I think when she took the class, she was 68.
Wow.
She was frail. She used a walker. She'd been in the state hospital, committed to the state hospital 6 times. She'd suffered sexual assault and abuse. She'd, she had all these experiences.
Yeah.
And she still was there telling her story, and she volunteered at the food bank. She was on the board of one of the NAMI affiliates. She coached a Special Olympics team. She was, she had to be included. I had to tell her story. It's an amazing story.
Was there one particular story that was very hard for you to write and tell?
I think Lorraine, because I wanted to do her justice. I wanted to honor her. I wanted to make sure that it was right and accurate and showed her strength and her perseverance and her courage and her grit, I think,
It sounds like this book and oh my God, OMG, that's me, go hand in hand with each other. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay.
Both of them, in Healing with Humor, we tell the story, and with openness and honesty, we tell their story, but we also include their jokes that they've written.
Oh, okay.
So you can read their jokes, and the audiobook's going to come out in a couple of weeks, and you can hear them live on stage in the audiobook. The audiobook has been described as brilliant. So
wait, but the audiobook is actually them?
The audiobook is about them, and then we were able to splice in them performing on stage.
Oh, that is awesome.
It is awesome. It is really cool. And you hear, it's just amazing. It truly is amazing. It's great. So, and it'll be out in a couple of weeks.
Dave, you know what you have to do with this now, right? With
What's
this
that?
book, get all of them and to do stand up on the stage, all of you, like one big show, and record it and pitch it to the networks as a comedy special?
Yeah. Well, we do have a show that's
Wait a minute, what?
recorded.
Okay.
We did a show at Portland Center Stage, and Portland Center Stage is one of the premier live entertainment venues in Portland. I'm in Portland, and so it was recorded, and the audio is great, and you see the comics up there. I've got it. We've got it. I should pitch it.
Yeah.
I should. I really should. Maybe you've inspired me to do it.
Look, what did you tell me before we started recording? You asked me if I started what?
You started your book.
Right. So
Yes.
I got to start my book, and now you have to pitch this comedy special.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
No, I do. It's, it would be a great PBS special.
It would be.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because now I'm thinking, okay, God, I'm thinking big here.
All right.
Like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Yeah.
Which basically, I think it honestly gave Larry the Cable Guy and probably Ron White a boost.
Yeah.
In what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I could see this being a tour.
Yeah, and I've thought about that, and we do shows around Oregon. We'll travel, but there's, depending on, there can be anywhere from 4 to 8 of us, of the people that I've taught and that are just laugh out loud funny and really, do great on stage. But it costs money for 4 or 6 or 8 people to travel and get hotel rooms and blah, 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 blah. So we need a sponsor is what we need.
Who wants to donate the tour buses for this?
Yeah, exactly. Or if anybody out there is inspired, we'll travel. We'd do that and we'd love it.
I could see this being big.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah. It's got the potential and I've become an expert or professional at producing shows, and all the comics are just, frankly, just laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
Just laugh out loud funny. And it's a great show. So, it travels. It travels well.
Good. Yeah, I can't wait for it to come out this way, because I would definitely go to see it every night that it's here.
Yeah.
I could see it being on the big stages and then eventually filling arenas. Am I dreaming too big for you, Dave?
I think the arena thing's a little big, but, we did Portland Center Stage, and that was big. That was big. And that was kind of like, we couldn't do any better than that. But the other thing is to, writing new material and getting in. And I'll get inspired, and I'll sit down when I get inspired, and the jokes will just flow. I'll come up with 10 or 12 jokes in an hour, and usually 2 or 3 are keepers. But it's challenging for folks to sit down and write. But I've got another joke I want to tell you before we run out of time. We were talking about my wife. Being the hero of my story. We're also talking about my bipolar disorder, and, so that's mania and depression. So, and it was, I never knew which one of me, who was going to wake up in the morning.
Right.
Which one of me was going to wake up in the morning. So, but I finally figured it out. So I figured it out because the depressed me, when I'm depressed, it's everything I can do just to get out of bed. I spend all my day trying to get out of bed. And when I'm manic, I spend all day trying to get my wife into bed.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
We could do.
Did your wife like that one?
Oh, she likes that one a lot. Okay. Yeah. And what you and I could do, we could just do one of your podcasts. We could just do it, and I just, tell my jokes.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, it'd be a fun one for you and the audience.
Actually, it could be a good roundtable one.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll make that happen.
All right. Yeah.
Something important. Where can people purchase your books and follow you?
Yeah, Amazon for the books, and actually DaveMowry.com is my website, and there's links to the books there, and there's more about me there. So DaveMowry.com, and the books are available. What's that?
I was just telling the listeners, MOWRY.
Yeah.
But I'll have the link in the show notes as well.
Yeah, DaveMowry.com. And the books are doing well on Amazon. The audiobook of OMG, That's Me, is actually outselling the paperback. So that's fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
With you spent years trying to, you and several other people, trying to shatter the stigma surrounding mental illness. Where do you think we've made progress, and where do we still have a long way to go?
Yeah, we've made progress. We have made a lot of progress.
Mm-hmm.
I think where we have a long way to go is my rant about people in the helping professions. You know, they've got this perception. They got into the helping profession thinking that people with mental illness are weak and need help. And I'd really like to be able to shatter that stigma.
Yeah.
And I share that message I share that message when I'm in front of any groups, because if we can shatter that stigma with them, then they'll be able to truly help more people.
Yeah. So when readers finish Healing with Humor, what message do you hope stays with them long after they close the book?
I think the strength and the courage of the people in the book, it's inspiring, because you read about where they were and where they are now, and you get the reader hear their jokes and laugh along with them. So you know, I think that I think that. And listening to a previous podcast you had with Nicolette Halliday about publishing books and her helping authors, it's inspiring me. I've been thinking about writing a workbook for helping with humor.
That's a great idea.
And a workbook so people can take it and they can look for humor in their own experiences and write jokes about their experiences. I think that would really be healing. So it's been in my head for a long time, but I think I'm inspired now because of your podcast to get that started.
So Nicolette, if you're listening, don't just give me a hard time about me working on my book. But you don't need to give Dave a hard time, because he'll do it anyways.
Yeah.
He'll finish the book.
Yeah, she can reach me at DaveMowry.com and pitch me her services. So,
she's great. Actually, another one I met through Podmatch.
Yeah, Podmatch is great.
Oh, it is.
Podmatch is great. I've been doing lots of podcasts. I'm now. I got to brag a little bit. I'm ranked in the top 2% of all podcast guests on Podmatch.
Oh, nice.
I know it's affirming. You know.
Yeah.
It's affirming, but you know the thing about mental illness and then the comedy and stand-up comedy, and it's unique. So, plus, I do want to tell you one more joke. It's
good.
Not a mental health joke, and it's the only joke I tell that I haven't written myself. It was Ken Robinson. I'll give him credit, but there was. I personalized it. My daughter Megan, when she was in first grade. She was, they were doing art, and she was drawing a picture, and the teacher came up and looked over her shoulder and said, "Megan, that's a nice picture. What are you drawing?" And Megan said, "It's a picture of God." And the teacher said, "But Megan, nobody knows what God looks like." And Megan said, "They will in a minute."
I love that. Oh man.
So
Yeah,
that's
you're
it.
right. We have to do another episode of just the jokes.
Just the jokes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do that. We'll set it up, and we'll do whatever you want. We'll do a half-hour show, and we'll do at least 20 minutes of
That would be
20 minutes
great.
of joke. I'll
That
just do
would
my
be
act.
great.
Yeah.
Dave, is there anything else you would like to add before I get to the last question?
No, I just I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, my
Spread the
pleasure.
word, and shatter stigma. Don't get stuck where you are in your mental health journey. You do come out the other side. I think sharing that message is important. You've helped me do that.
Well, and you've listened to the episode with Nicolette, so you know how this works. I need you to pick a number between 1 and 5.
Okay, 2.
2. All right, now I need you to pick a number between 21 and 40.
34.
34. Okay. What is a lesson you've learned about the nature of change? This goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about.
Yeah. Change is possible. If we don't resign ourselves to our present situation, if we keep trying, if we persevere, change happens. And if we do things for the right reasons, positive change.
Great. Dave, I want to thank you again. Those of you listening, make sure you pick up the book, Healing with Humor, as well as OMG, That's Me. And after you read them, leave a full review everywhere that you can leave reviews. Take a photo of yourself holding the book or books. Put it on social media, tag Dave, tag myself, let everybody see it, get it out there, buy copies and donate them to a facility, to a prison, jail, whatever. And everybody is going to benefit from this because a lot of people, it definitely will help them. Dave, thank you so much. It's been a true honor, and I can't wait to talk with you again.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, thanks so much, Rich.
Another great conversation. Man, I haven't laughed like that in a while. Dave's story is such a powerful reminder that sometimes healing can come from places we never expect. For him, it came through stand-up comedy. Learning to look at some of the darkest experiences of his life differently and finding the humor in them, and eventually standing on a stage and telling his story one joke at a time. But what really stayed with me is something Dave said near the end. Change is possible. His life went from success to losing everything, living with severe depression and anxiety, homelessness, and moments when he questioned whether he wanted to keep going. And yet, he kept trying. Today, he's not only telling his story, he's helping other people find the courage to tell theirs. And I love what he said about his wife being the true hero of his story. Sometimes the people who stand beside us during our darkest chapters are a much bigger part of our healing than they may ever realize. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from this conversation. Laughter doesn't mean the pain wasn't real. It doesn't mean mental illness isn't serious. Sometimes laughter simply gives us another way to carry what we've been through. And it can open conversations, break down the stigma, remind us that we're not alone, and maybe even help somebody realize that the chapter they're living right now doesn't have to be the end of their story. Make sure you check out Dave's books, OMG, That's Me, and Healing with Humor, Mental Illness to Mental Health, One Laugh, one joke, one inspiring story at a time. And like we talked about, don't just read them, leave a review, share them, give a copy to somebody who might need it. You never know when somebody's going to read Dave's words and have that same reaction so many others have had. OMG, that's me. Somebody understands. And Dave, I'm holding you to it. We're doing that episode where you come back and tell the jokes. And who knows, maybe someday we'll see that Healing with Humor comedy tour making its way across the country. Until next time, I'm Rich Bennett. Thanks for listening. And remember, every great conversation starts with someone willing to listen and someone willing to share. Now it's your turn. Join the conversation by sharing this episode, leaving a comment, or reaching out to me directly. Take care, be kind to one another, and I'll talk with you again soon.